Welcome to Happy Aura, a calm space in a loud world. Slow down, breathe deep, and enjoy wisdom. There is a kind of courage not found on battlefields or in front of roaring crowds. It lives in small moments, the pause before speaking, the breath before saying something that truly matters, the decision to remain open when every impulse screams to shut down. This is the quiet strength of truth-telling. Not truth as a weapon, but truth as a bridge. Not shouted from a mountaintop to silence the world, but spoken gently, clearly, quietly into a world already too loud. To speak your truth quietly is not to dilute it. It is to respect it. It is to understand that the volume of your voice does not increase the value of your story. The quiet voice does not tremble because it is weak. It trembles because it is honest, because it has seen pain, joy, betrayal, redemption, because it knows that being understood is not guaranteed, but still it reaches out. Still it hopes. And clarity is the gift you give both to yourself and to the world. It is the difference between noise and meaning. In a culture addicted to rapid-fire opinion and instant judgment, to speak with clarity is a revolutionary act. It means you've taken the time to understand yourself, that you've done the hard work of asking, what do I really feel? What do I truly believe? What part of me am I ready to reveal? Not because I seek attention, but because I seek connection. Yet speaking your truth is only half the equation. The other half, the harder half, often is listening. Really listening. Not waiting for your turn to speak. Not mentally crafting a response while the other person is still talking. Not measuring their words against your standards of intelligence or relevance. Just listening with your whole being. We are taught to listen to the wise, to the eloquent, to those who command attention and reward our interest with insight. But the quote asks something deeper of us, to listen even to the dull and the ignorant, for they too have their story. And what a humbling truth that is, because somewhere along the way, we all become dull to someone. We all become ignorant in a subject, a situation, a season of life. We are all the person whose story seems unimportant to someone else. And yet we carry entire worlds inside of us, full of moments that made us cry in the dark, full of memories we can barely articulate, full of lessons learned through wounds and wonder. To listen is to grant dignity, and dignity is the soil in which trust grows. There is a man who mumbles nonsense on the bus every morning. People avoid eye contact. Some laugh, some scoff, most ignore. But one day, someone sits beside him and asks his name. And the man begins to speak about his childhood, about a brother who never came back from war, about a job he lost, a family he tried to hold together, a mind that eventually unraveled. The nonsense becomes narrative. The mumbling becomes memory. And suddenly, he is no longer the crazy guy on the bus. He is human. He is someone. He has a story we need to remember that story is not a privilege. It is a human right. But too often, we reserve our attention for those whose stories mirror our own or flatter our worldview. We dismiss the rest. We categorize and file people away like books we assume aren't worth reading. Yet the richest truths are often hidden in the most unexpected voices. The janitor humming in the hallway has known loss you haven't. The teenager stumbling over their words in class has survived a home life you couldn't bear. The woman who stutters, the man with the heavy accent, the neighbor whose opinions grate on you, they all contain fragments of the human experience that you lack and perhaps need. To listen without agenda is to allow those fragments to enter you, to expand your world. And yes, some people may be wrong, loudly wrong, painfully wrong, but to listen is not to agree. It is to understand, and understanding is what softens the edges of judgment. Because the truth is, people don't become dull or ignorant in a vacuum. They are shaped, scarred, misinformed, forgotten, mistrusted. The man shouting conspiracy theories online is still someone's father. The woman ranting in the supermarket is still someone's child. And while we cannot condone harm or excuse hatred, we can look deeper. We can ask, what story got them here? Listening is not just about others. It is about who we become in the process. We become more grounded, less reactive, more attuned to nuance. We begin to realize that truth is not a possession, but a process, a living dialogue between experience and empathy. So speak your truth, but not to dominate, not to drown out. Speak your truth to add to the collective song. And when others sing their verse, out of tune, out of rhythm, maybe even off-key, listen. You might hear something in their notes that changes the way you sing your own. There is an old saying, be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. But even more than kindness, what many people crave is witness, to be seen, to be heard, to have someone say, I don't fully understand you, but I'm here. I'm listening. You matter. In a world of endless content and fleeting connections, to offer someone your undivided attention is a sacred act. It is a pause in the machine, a hand reached out in a storm. Sometimes you'll hear things that break your heart. Sometimes you'll hear things that shake your assumptions. Sometimes you'll hear nothing remarkable at all, just a person trying to make it through the day. But in that act of listening, something happens. You stop seeing people as categories and start seeing them as stories. And stories are powerful. They heal, they confront, they connect. Your story matters. So does theirs. So speak it and hear it. And if the world is too loud, step back. Breathe. Remember that truth doesn't need to shout to be heard. It needs only to be real. It needs only to be offered with care and received with compassion. So speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to the brilliant and the broken, to the proud and the meek, to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. And if you listen well enough, you just might find your own story reflected in theirs.